Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very exciting, very special race on the Randomania Network. Tonight we have a match between CaptainGreen7, a relative newcomer to the Randomizer, but has very quickly ascended close to the top of the leaderboards, and the man, the myth, the legend, the creator of Zelda 1 Randomizer, fcoughlin. This is a 2-0 match, meaning that the winner of this match will qualify for the brackets. I am Riker, and joining me, I have Neristra, who is also handling restream duty. So big shout outs to just the crew and the staff behind this in general for making this race possible, because both of us are actually performing double duty. That it is going to be really hard to say who has an advantage. And I did check both of their race history, and I don't believe either of them. I don't believe these two have played each other yet, and it does look like we are underway. We have the start screen that is one screen west of Vanilla Sword, and we have Vanilla Wood Sword. Ferd. Although I'm sure both of them are pretty excited. And both of our runners getting an early bomb drop. And until we find a book, it looks like we are going to just have a bunch of sleeping old men. Our runners finding the any roads pretty quickly. There is one near start, but the spread is pretty terrible.
And Captain Green finds Temple 4.
That was level 4, one south of the Lake Armos spot, I believe.
And good evening, Raku. I didn't get a chance to say hi. I was pushing all the buttons.
Yes, again, big shout-outs to Neristra for doing double duty in tonight's race. We have a total of 10 races in a 3-hour time frame, so it's pretty amazing that we can get as many of these races live as we can. Captain Green finding the book in level 4. This is going to be absolutely enormous for him. One of the big reasons why the book is so important in these flags is because all of the old men are going to be sleeping until you whack them upside the head with a dictionary, and then they actually start talking to you. Fred, finding level 4 as well, will likely find this book as well. Now, because Fred is playing with an enemy sprite, all of the Gibdos are going to show up as links instead, and it looks like we have a warp zone for the old man hint. So we'll see a nice variety tonight instead of just both of our runners never finding the book. Very nice force by Captain Green on the start screen there. So early on, both of our runners are going to be prioritizing finding a 2 damage weapon. Some other nice items would be an any key, also some rupees. We haven't seen too many rupees so far. I think we've just seen the one secret, and Fred is likely ladder blocked out of 4, and is going to leave the dungeon. I do not blame him one bit, especially considering he only has 1 bomb, so we may see him try to force drop on some of these screens as well. It does look like we have squishy blue Octoroks. And Captain Green going up to the Lake Armos, about to pick up what I would presume would be a candle at the bonus cave. So this will give both of our runners all the exploration tools that they need to explore about 90% of the caves. Fred finding our small secret, just 3 rupees. There are 4 small secrets, 7 medium, and 3 large. We do not know the value of the large secret yet, and that large secret value will typically impact your shopping decisions, and it looks like we have a pretty hefty door repair. I want to say that's 24 rupees.
Fred's gonna make it over to the Deadwoods, and he finds himself some hint shops. Kind of expensive, though.
Okay, so one of the items is 8. One of the items in 8 is Recorder. So both of these runners at this point are going to be looking for coverage. They're going to be looking for some of the smaller dungeons. And Captain Green does find level 8. And that is at the... Coast Heart spot in the vanilla game. Does a nice reverse block clip to get in the staircase and finds the second item in level 8 is the heart container. He does not know the recorder is here. Only Fred knows that.
Yeah, I mean, 8's one of those dungeons in this flag set where you want to go ahead and stick your nose in. The 2 items definitely is more in your favor than any other dungeon.
And this dungeon isn't too big. It's only 25 rooms. It's usually a lot larger in shapes, so you might see runners more reluctant. Ooh, Fred finds level 1!
Now that's a great find. The only real challenge with 1 is it can be key blocked. Or bomb blocked if you run out of those.
Now that mugger location, or not location, but his toll isn't too bad. I'm a little surprised Fred didn't actually potentially pay that off to look for a possible bomb hole, because he only had 3 hearts, so he would be able to get through that life or money room for free. Because when you have 3 hearts, if you pay a heart, you won't actually lose one of your 3 heart containers. You will instead lose all of your hearts, but you won't lose any containers, and it'll put you in a state called Zombie Link.
I do think he might have looked at his map, though, because I think he was towards the bottom, and that may have been just a dead room. Yeah.
I believe you are. I believe you are correct. All the races and battle royales are kind of blurring together. Fred manages to find level 7 near the Desert Ferry. Now, level 7 is one of those dungeons that can be a little difficult to search, even if you are looking for keys, because there aren't a whole lot of keys here. Fred, however, will find a lot of bombs, Captain Green finding the recorder in 8. So both of these runners in fairly large dungeons. 7, of course, being the larger of the 2, but 8 is not a small dungeon either. And it looks like we have a pretty nasty blue lagoon. This dungeon set, Captain Green in general, is just nasty.
Yeah, having the
Nice hint. Nice hint. That lever definitely deserved that stab from Fred. A hint for a dungeon location that's the same dungeon you're in. Great hint.
Thanks,
Ooh,
game.
Fred has found a staircase in here. This has potential to be the item. It is not. It is a transport staircase.
In Captain Green's case, with this enemy set, I might consider just leaving this 8. You've got the 2 items. Go find an easier dungeon to get your Triforce out of.
I think what Captain Green's plan is he's going to explore until he dies and then leave.
Or finds a ladder block.
That will definitely keep him from exploring those bottom 4 rooms, and at this point, upping is looking like probably a good idea. Both of these guys have amazing combat, but the combat will only take you so far. Oh, both of our runners finding separate bomb upgrades, 1 in 7 and 1 in 8, and they're pretty cheap at 82 rupees. So these runners may want to take note of where those are to possibly come back for a bomb upgrade, depending on the value of the large secret. Excellent job clearing out that Darknut room. Unfortunately, it leads only to a map on Captain Green's side. Both of our runners in Darknut dungeons. Fred finding the item in 7, and it's the silver arrows. That could be huge for Fred.
That's never a dungeon you want to dig, but you know, sometimes it just pays off. Captain Green is still looking for his Triforce in 8.
So if Captain Green doesn't find 7 quickly, and he could even choose not to dig it out just because there are better dungeons to dig than 7. But this could be one of those cases where it's very early to call, but I would say that at this point, Fred has a pretty commanding lead.
Yeah, definitely. And the closer that Captain gets to that 5 Triforce, the more likely he is to dive 9 instead of 7. So we'll just have to wait and see as we find a Dig Dogger block. And so Captain is out of 8.
With both of the items, I don't blame him. The enemy set in there looked pretty nasty. So Captain Green's goal at this point is probably to find the bow, find some other helpful items, such as possibly a red ring, a ladder, some 2-damage weapon. 2-damage weapons speed up your combat so much, and Captain Green finds level 5 on the coast as well. Fred's still in level 7.
Well, he's got the compass and the Triforce here in the room, so ooh.
You? Just you? Boy, what if anybody can complete this room though, it's Fred.
Oh, definitely.
His combat is fantastic. Some of the best in the tournament. But this is one of those rooms. Look at this bomb work from Fred. This is incredible.
Beautiful. You know, this is very vanilla level 8 fight here. On 4 hearts and, you know, wood sword. So Fred picks up our first.
Absolutely masterful bomb work by Fred right there. And this is one of the reasons why he is one of the best in the tournament.
Definitely. And Captain Green picks up his Triforce out of 5. He is not going to go back into 5 for now.
With a Triforce that early, I don't blame him. If I were Captain Green, I would be trying to get information about where these items are. Just prioritizing Armos locations, checking the coast, and just trying to get as much coverage as possible for those early items. And that is a very, very nasty screen that Captain Green just died on. If he wants to get back to the coast, he's probably going to try going a different way.
Oh, definitely. That's probably the worst combination you can have on that screen. Is Fred finds the raft as our Armos item.
Now, based on where 7 is, I think there's pretty decent odds that Captain Green will find 7 before finding 5 dungeons, because that open cave that's near the Desert Ferry, you usually see that routed in the early to mid game. Just because it's at a crossroads that, depending on what enemies you have, you can wind up going through that screen pretty often. Oh, and it looks like we have a HUD scroll. We have a HUD scroll!
And as Captain's up in the HUD, Fred does find level 9 in the vanilla letter shop.
Knowledge of level 9 is pretty big, but based on Captain Green's routing, I would not be surprised for him to discover level 9 within the next few minutes. That's a pretty good shop we have on Captain Green's side.
Hey, I'll take 12 bombs any day, or 12 rupee bombs any day.
They may not be Brookie approved, but those are definitely cheap bombs. And speaking of money, we have a Loz Cards fan approved seed. Captain Green picking up 121 rupees and a spin.
And now we get some hints.
And I would not be surprised to see him spend this money on hints, so it looks like our first hint is no feat of strength.
Ooh.
Oh, we have a red ring on the coast. I'm pretty sure both of our runners are going to want to go back for that when they find the news. Wait, Dodongo dwells with the magic boomerang. Ferd! Are we sure we're playing Randomizer?
I mean, silvers were in 7.
So both of our runners at this point are going to be looking for some of the smaller dungeons. Such as, based on what's left, 3 and 4.
I don't think we've seen 2 as well.
Well, 2 has the inferior model, which...
Right. Our runners are still going to
grab.
They're going to want to grab the Triforce out of there, most likely, and just get out.
It'll be a quick Triforce, certainly. Both of our runners just a couple of hits away from taking what would be a pretty costly death. Fred finding the not fire sale, but definitely bombs on clearance, and will take advantage of that sale and load up.
Yeah, it's a blue light special today.
Fred about to discover that we have jewelry on the coast. Which with these runners will make a little bit less of a difference, because both of these runners are extremely skilled at combat. Although with having more defense, no matter how good your combat is, having more defense just in general speeds up combat, since you can since instead of having to carefully conserve health against enemies that do lots of damage, such as Darknuts, Wizrobes, and Gibdos, you can just use your health as a resource instead to be able to speed up Blue Lagoon rooms. Fred taking a death in that lower right corner, and both of these runners will most certainly avoid that screen for the rest of the seed.
I was getting ready to say Fred wasn't going to take the raft spot here, but he goes ahead and does it, and we find the magical sword hanging out in vanilla level 4.
I don't think either of these runners are going to make a play for magical sword, unless they find a lot of hearts. And Captain Green has found level 9.
And Fred is going back into level 1 here. We have some keys this time.
I'm not surprised. Level 1 has 2 items in it, and it's one of the smallest dungeons. I believe 18 rooms, which is, I believe, tied for the smallest. And it looks like Fred is trying to find his way around some of these key doors. One thing that's very important early on is key conservation, and Captain Green discovers that we have a ladder as the white sword item, which is going to lead to the red ring. That's going to be huge for Captain Green.
Ladder may not be required, but you definitely are happy to have it early.
Especially if you know that that red ring is on the coast. And that takes the blue ring purchase off the table, meaning these runners are going to spend money on hints, bomb upgrades, and potentially keys. Buying a key is one of those things that sometimes you just have to do. And we have a white sword in level 1. The rich get richer.
Oh, definitely. This is a, minus the dark nuts, a very nice start to the seed.
So the only real advantage that Captain Green has at this point in the race is knowledge of where the ladder is, and it's along the river too. So we are probably going to see Captain Green prioritize the river spots in an effort to find that ladder. It looks like that's what he's doing. Going to check this particular location up here. This is one of the few locations considered by a river, and there's our ladder, and with 6 hearts, Captain Green will be able to pick that up and is probably going to make a beeline for that red ring. And he's going to be heading to the one of the Lost Woods warps, so we are going to see a world wrap to pick up this ladder. Fred continuing to excavate 1, bolstering his key count a little bit, is up to 5 keys. And there's that world wrap.
So as Captain gets his red ring, Fred gets his Triforce out of 1. And we are off to the races now.
So Captain Green with the defense advantage, Fred with the offense advantage. Fred is going back to dig out this other item in level 1. Won't actually need to clear any more rooms because the last item is going to be in a staircase.
And of course, you know that staircase is going to be guarded by dark nuts.
And it looks like we are being rated at this time. Randomania 3, thank you very much. We are covering this randomizer match between Fred and Captain Green, which is going to be quite the high-level match. Fred finding the wand, so level 1, just the armory in this seed, having both 2 damage weapons.
As Captain Green has joined Fred in 1, as Fred's leaving now, but Captain Green doesn't have any keys, so he's going to have to wait a bit to get that white sword and wand.
So now with the wand and the white sword, Fred will have access to magical sword damage, and Fred finding level 6 at the vanilla level 1 spot. So the big question...
Where's the bow?
The big question is, where is this bow? Could be in 9.
And this is one of those unfortunate things. I personally would like to find the bow and not find the silvers first. Because at least in 9 you have the shot of getting that hint of the bow lies elsewhere, or not the bow, the silvers lie elsewhere, or the silvers have a quadrant.
And both of our runners in level 6 at the same time. Fred with the offense advantage, Captain Green with the defense advantage. But given the quality of both of these runners' play, I think offense is more important than defense to both of these runners, given how skilled that they are.
Oh, definitely. And Fred has another huge advantage right now, though. He's got 6 keys. So, Captain Green's down to 1, so he may choose to check out of 6.
And he's gone. But any number of things can happen. It could be possible. It could be possible that this bow is just buried in some dungeon that requires something such as power bracelet, which neither one of these runners have found. Wow. Fred finding, and speaking of the power bracelet, Fred finding the power bracelet in level 6. So with those in hand, the only thing that could stop Fred at this point from finding the bow would be the recorder, and that's only if there's a dungeon at Recorder Lake.
Or if a dig dogger is sitting on top of a push block.
So both of these runners giving us pretty good coverage. The only items that we don't know at this point are levels 3, 5, and both of the items in 9. So we're looking at a 50-50 chance that we have a bow in level 9.
Captain Green did take that key and dove back into 1. He'll be very happy to find his armory in here.
And then that offense advantage that Fred had will be over with both of these runners having a wand and white sword. We'll need to be careful because since they do have the book, that's the one disadvantage to picking up the book, is it does downgrade your wand. But both of these runners are going to be very happy to have a ranged weapon that you can use while you're bubble cursed, as well as a 2-damage sword.
Oh, definitely.
And Captain Green, you just needed 1 key to get started in this level 1. All of a sudden up to 4 keys.
Fred is going to step out of 6. He does appear to be ladder blocked in there, so we'll have to get his ladder.
And Captain Green showing bomb prowess as well, taking out those 6 blue dark nuts very, very quickly. And picking up that wand as well. Fred debating on buying meat, decides against it. And there's the ladder. I would not be surprised to see Fred do an up A very soon to get to the red ring, or perhaps route to Death Mountain in the graveyard and then do a world wrap from there.
Yeah, definitely first thing on his mind is getting that forgotten spot taken care of, as we have seen it hide some pretty important stuff.
Oh, definitely. So now both of these runners probably have to feel they're in pretty decent shape. But Fred with those silver arrows out of 7 making all the difference. Fred finding another large secret at the grave Armos spot. Almost up to a full wallet now at 221 rupees.
Yeah, so the other important thing Fred has is the power bracelet, so he is able to search.
And there's level 2.
I do believe both of our runners saw the hint that the magical boomerang's hanging out here, and if they didn't, there it is.
Oh, and there it is. So usually level 2 is a pretty quick Triforce. And with the vanilla dungeon layouts, especially, it's going to be very quick because with levels 1 through 3, all of our walls are going to be bombable as long as they're within the bounds of the dungeon.
With two exceptions. If you're trying to bomb in from the north to an old man room, or if you have one of those sideways staircases for your item, but that won't be a problem here in 2.
Captain Green finding himself back in 6.
He's got his ladder, so this is not necessarily a bad play. I don't think he knew he was ladder blocked because he was key blocked at the time.
And sometimes it may not be a bad idea if you're a little low on keys to search these dungeons for keys as well. But I would say both of these runners are in pretty good key situations right now. This is a comfortable amount of keys to have.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you're going to still be mindful of how many you burn and try to save them, but you're not going to be afraid to burn a key to get to a room. Fred almost too comfortable with his keys there, almost leaves that one on the floor.
Definitely a very easy mistake to make when you have a large number of keys like Fred does, and Captain Green declining the power bracelet. He knows it's not required. I don't think Fred knew that when he picked up the power bracelet in 6. It may still be helpful, though. It could lead to a bonus cave. Could lead to the remaining large secret. I believe we've only seen 2 of those so far.
We also haven't seen the letter, so that might be useful as well, especially with Fred being at max rupees here. Oh, and there's a nice find in 2. Get the compass to be told go 1 room north.
Probably isn't too happy about having the full clear of the dungeon to figure that out, though.
Probably not terribly happy about this room set either. It's not the hardest, but you get that bubble and the bunnies. Not a great combo to deal with, but he takes him out.
Well, with the wand and the white sword, the only enemies that are really troublesome at this point are Wizrobes, and those aren't going to be any sort of difficulty as soon as he does this world wrap to get to the red ring. So I imagine what he'll do is probably check Vanilla 6, check Vanilla Magical Sword Cave, and then go pick up the red ring. So this is great routing by Fred. Captain Green finding the Triforce in 6, so that puts us even on the Triforce count.
Yep, 3 Triforces all at 33 minutes. Raikou, you want to give us an item recap of what we found so far?
Oh, certainly, I can do that for you. Level 1 has the white sword and the wand. Level 2 has the inferior model. Level 4 has the book. 6, the power bracelet. 7, the silver arrows. 8, the recorder and the heart container. The Armos item is the raft. The white sword item is the ladder. The latter coast item is the red ring, which leaves a 3, 5, and 9. All of the items in those dungeons are unknown at this time. And speaking of 5, Captain Green is headed back into 5, so we may get some information on what's here.
He also picked up the bait as Fred finds that second hint shop. Not necessarily going to be too thrilled with these hints at this point.
I definitely don't blame him for purchasing those hints on his rupee count. When your wallet's full, you gotta burn that money or you're going to be turning down a lot of secrets.
And also, it could tell you where the bow is at this point, so, you know, not a bad decision.
I think at this point, Fred is just going to go back through these dungeons to just get the Triforces and head to 9. And there's that Triforce out of level 4 for Fred.
Yeah, at this point he's playing the odds, 50-50 shot right now that the bow is in 9. You get to map 9 as well, and you have to also assume that your opponent is doing the same kind of thing here.
I feel that if there are more than 5 items outstanding, it's generally a good idea. Oh no, Fred soft-locked. Fred soft-locked trying to screen scroll. That was silly. So as I was saying about level 9, I feel that if you have more than 5 items out, if you have 5 or fewer items outstanding, it's usually a good idea just to go into 9 to map, because you might stumble into one or both of the items. But I feel that as soon as you find a path to Ganon and Zelda, you should probably leave 9, depending on how many rooms you have. And speaking of items, Captain Green has found the item in 5. It is the Any key.
That is definitely a nice pickup, and that really leads us towards that bow being in 9.
There's only one other place it could be, and it's level 3, which neither one of our runners have found yet.
And chat pointing out that Any key was apparently bait blocked.
I did see that. I mean, it will definitely give peace of mind when exploring level 9. Especially in Captain Green's case, because I think he only had 4 or 5 keys when he found that. Fred, in a better key situation at 7, should be pretty comfortable going into level 9 with that key count. But both of our runners just on the hunt for Triforces at this point. Triforces and the bow. Digdogger having only a heart container, Fred picking up yet another key, up to 8 keys. Has to feel pretty comfortable about the key situation at this point. I am a little surprised that Fred still has not picked up the red ring.
Yeah, it would definitely make that bunny shooter room much nicer.
Because generally, anytime that a Coast Red Ring, in this case when you have ladder, prevents at least 1 death, then it would be generally faster to go get the Red Ring.
I guess the only question is, he took, what happened to him in Death Mountain? I missed that moment where he decided to not. Did he up A out of something?
I believe you're correct.
So he didn't get the chance to do that world wrap. So I do believe Captain Green has nearly full cleared 8 here.
Well, it looks like our chat pointing out that Fred actually voluntarily went to explore the dead woods instead. That's something we'll need to ask him about in post-race interview, I think.
Not definitely. He may just feel, time crunch, doing the screen scroll, knowing all your dungeons are over here on the left side. He may have also been at full health and not wanted to go over there and then take that FA.
It's definitely a calculated risk. Captain Green finding the Triforce in level 8, so that will even the score at 4 apiece. Both of these runners looking for one more piece of the pie to get into level 9. Which, level 9, if you haven't seen too many of these races, just in this tournament and in past tournaments has been the great equalizer. We've seen many races won and lost because of level 9. Fred going to reset this room, having cleared out half the Pulse Voices, but down to half a heart in a corner turret room. Definitely not where you want to be. It looks like he is going to reset after every kill. Captain Green back in 4.
And Fred getting that heart pickup means he's not going to reset this one. He's just going to clear it out.
Wow, the Triforce was in that room.
I think he knew the Triforce was there. I think he cleared out most of 6 at this point. But with that, Fred is most likely going to make his way over to 9.
So in level 9, Fred is going to be looking for 3 things. The first thing he's going to be doing, he's going to be keeping an earful out for the roar of Ganon. If you hear Ganon screaming at you in the dungeon, then that means you're 1 room away from him, either north, south, east, or west. Fred will also be looking for a single shutter door that does not open, even after clearing out all enemies in the room. If that happens, then Fred will have discovered the location of Ganon, actually, and Zelda will be the one making the roar, because Fred is playing as an enemy sprite. And then, of course, he'll be looking for the bow.
I do think that Fred does know that he's missing Dungeon 3, so he's kind of poking around to make sure that it's not just laying around somewhere nearby.
This play does not surprise me, because level 3 is a very small dungeon, so he's going to be checking all the caves in the vicinity just to cover against that. And this is actually a very good play from him, because he knows that the silver arrows are in 7, and that is something that he feels Captain Green may struggle with, is finding those silver arrows out of 7. And in this case, it could very well work for him.
Also, if I remember correctly, that 7 was not all
he's
9.
he's getting the red ring. That's what he's doing. Interesting routing this way.
Yeah, it's not a horrible plan, because you do get to clear out those caves that you've missed out. You kind of just walk over there, get everything cleared out. So we have an idea where 3 is now, most likely. Assuming our runners are tracking their map, which I know Fred may or may not be.
I think Fred does paper tracking, I want to say. There are a lot of runners in the tournament that actually do paper tracking. And Captain Green finding the 5th Triforce as well. So both of these runners are going to be headed into level 9, one right after another.
Unfortunately for Captain Green, he needs to go back, or go find 7 at this point.
I don't even think this is actually doubly bad for Captain Green, because I don't believe he even knows where level 7 is.
Yeah, so question in chat, where do we think 3 is? We haven't seen much of Death Mountain at this point. Our runners have really kind of avoided a lot of it.
Very timely bonus cave outside of level 9 for Fred going to pick up a potion. That's a wise pickup. So Fred into level 9 at 43 minutes and 49 seconds. So even though Fred has a commanding lead with the silver arrows in 7, this race is not over yet. The way Captain Green can get back into this race is if the bow is recorder blocked in level 3, because Fred does not have the recorder yet. So because both of these runners are looking for the bow, they're going to take every single staircase that they can find. And Random Effect makes a very interesting point that Captain Green is in level 9 with no bow and no silver arrows. And it does look like we do have a Zelda sighting in level 9, just an up A away. But that's only one piece of the puzzle.
And unfortunately, the kidnapped is going to have to wait a little bit, because we may have to leave 9.
And both of these runners are likely to explore this level 9 in fairly similar ways, given how linear this dungeon has been so far and just the positioning of the staircases. Because when you're in level 9 and you're not in go mode, you're going to take every staircase that you can to knock them out 2 at a time. Because level 9 has 14 staircases, 12 of them being 6 pairs of 2 transport staircases, and the other 2 staircases being items. So you just want to knock those out as quickly as possible. Very nice Patrick Hill on Captain Green's side.
And we found Ganon.
Captain Green has located Ganon, but does not have the silver arrows. We'll need to bomb out of this room, and there is a way out.
Oh, is this potentially one of those you have to bomb out of Ganon's room to get the bow?
That's entirely possible. And we've seen that trip up many a runner in these tournaments, not just this one, but in tournaments past.
And Fred hears the pig, or hears Zelda at this point, and chooses not to go in. So that could be a huge deciding factor for him.
Oh, this 9 has been fairly open so far, so Fred is probably going to explore other options in this dungeon before going into Ganon's room, because it appears to be a bit of a trip getting there. And being forced to up A out of Ganon's room is just never fun. And with the correct bombable wall, it looks like once you know where the 2 are, it's going to be pretty quick. As soon as these runners find this bow, they'll be able to take care of the big bad and
yeah, the other thing Captain Green does need to find is Mr. Cab and Jacob are pointing out in chat, that hint that the silvers lie elsewhere really would help out at this point.
Captain Green still needs to search this 9 for bow, though, but it would help out a lot. Because I believe Captain Green has discovered a few more items than Fred has. Just is missing a very critical one.
Yeah, the big one is 5. So if Fred does have to leave, he's going to look for 3, but he's also going to look for 5 potentially. And I believe he knows where 5 is, so he might take that before he goes into 3.
Probably.
And that if it so happens to be that the bow is in 3, that may give Captain Green the advantage.
And Fred in this reverse C. Finds yet another transport. These items in 9 being quite elusive tonight.
Usually it's Zelda and Ganon that are elusive, but tonight the items are playing hide and seek.
Could be one of those cases where there might be. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we could have a magic staircase to get to the bow. We haven't seen a lot of the interior of the dungeon yet, nor have we seen much of the top right corner.
This screen that Fred's in is not necessarily the worst room to find blue rose robes, but you really don't want them guarding a push block.
No, not at all. At least there aren't bubbles in here. When you see full house rooms, it's just never good. When you see bubbles in full house rooms in 9, that single push block is just another transport. We have seen a lot of this level 9, and neither one of these 2 items. And Captain Green not liking the path he is on and is choosing to up A and go back to start. I've been really impressed with Fred's bomb management in this seed. Just in general, I don't think I've seen Fred in bomb trouble at one point in this entire seed. Been very, very patient about using his last bomb to force a bomb drop. And it appears that's what Captain Green may need to do. Just on the last bomb. Does find some red Gurias. Unfortunately, does not get a drop from any of them, so will not be relying on RNG to get a bomb drop. Does get one. And Fred, Fred is in the upper right corner of level 9. I don't believe we've seen this part of the dungeon. Fred does find a diamond staircase. And it's Lord Banana.
Not the brownish item you were looking for. Yes,
so that's good news. That's good news for Captain Green.
So now we're down to a 50-50 shot of the bow being in 9 or in 3.
And even if the bow isn't here, Captain Green's fate really, really depends on where this level 3 is. If this level 3 is at Recorder Lake, then that could potentially be very, very big.
Oh, the other thing that comes into play though is when does Captain Green go back to 7?
It depends on how he feels, because at this point you have a runner like Fred. I mean, they're both very strong runners, but when you're up against Fred, who is the creator of the randomizer and knows every nook and cranny of how this randomizer operates, not to mention being an extremely strong vanilla Zelda 1 player, you have to be thinking, it's 53 minutes into a Pentaforce Seed, and Fred's not done yet. He's probably explored most, if not all, of level 9. So it's one of those cases where he might actually consider making a play that will only pay off if he's behind.
Now, I think if he runs into the blue or the yellow boomerang, he may make that play and just check out of 9. I think at this point, knowing that dot done hasn't come, and like you said, Fred has, in your mind, has been in here for 20 minutes. Oh.
Oh, Captain Green finds the red candle, the bow's in 3. So with that information, we now have perfect knowledge of where all of the items are in this seed. Level 1 has the white sword and the wand. Level 2 has the inferior model. Level 3 has the bow. 4 has the book. 5 has the any key. 6 has the power bracelet. Silver's in 7. The recorder and heart container are in level 8. Lord Banana and the red candle in level 9. The Armos item is the raft. The white sword item is the ladder. And the ladder coast item is the red ring. Oh, look at this. Look at how this exploration of level 9 has taken a toll on Fred's resources. He entered this level 9 with 7 keys and is now down to 2.
Now the question becomes, when Fred does find this red candle, does he go to 5 or does he look for 3?
Captain Green, I believe, is in the vicinity of the second item. Careful, Captain. You're at half a heart. Does he have a potion?
I don't believe he picked up a potion.
Needs to be very careful. And there's the hint that Captain Green needed. But he's going to stick around looking for the bow. So it'll be very interesting to see where Captain Green goes. And both of these runners might actually go against meta here, just because of how long the seed has taken them. I'm very impressed with Captain Green's dodging in this level 9. He's been on half a heart for a really long time. Needs to be very careful taking out these Gurias. Does get a heart drop. Very well done getting out of that situation. If I remember how this level 9 is laid out, Captain Green should find the boomerang pretty soon. We'll need to deal with this Patra.
I do believe that Fred is getting ready to find his news. Nope, not yet.
And there's the diamond block room that will contain the news that the bow is not in here as well. Captain Green really needs to remain calm. He probably thinks he's hopelessly behind. And it's very easy when you don't know why there's not a dot done, especially from an opponent as strong as Fred.
Oh, definitely. You do start to panic at this point. What did I miss? Where, even with the knowledge that Captain Green has, that I think he's down to the information that he's got to go to 7 and 3. He knows about the boomerang in 2.
I think you might actually be right. I think he knows that the items are in 3 and 7. So, if this whole situation is crazy. So it's really a race for these runners to find level 3. Yeah. And in that case, wouldn't it be something if that recorder that Captain Green picked up out of level 8 is the key to this seed?
That would be evil. Especially because we did get the hint that the feat of strength would not save the princess, correct?
Correct. No feat of strength to save the princess.
And Captain Green does find 2, but he knows what's in there, and he's not going to go look for it.
And Fred is out of keys. So if this winds up being a very key blocked level 3, this could mean big trouble.
Well, and Chad also pointing out that he is going to need to pick up the bait to get the any key out of 5. So if he goes and dives 5, he's going to be stalled for a bit.
So it's really just the race to find level 3 at this point. and now Fred has figured it out.
After exploring literally all of 9, and he burns the push block because it's the last one in the dungeon.
So now both of them at this point probably have to feel their way behind.
You're definitely never happy when you get through 9 and you've completely explored it, to find out that what you want is not there.
So we'll see where both of these runners decide to go. But I think we've got pretty good coverage on this overworld. Captain Green whistling.
And Fred going ahead and buying a key now.
Captain Green's whistling to 8.
Well, that was pretty close to 7. He's going the wrong way to get there, but...
If he stays in this area, Captain Green is going to find 7, and he's going to be pretty thrilled as to what he finds in there. But we're still missing this bow, and Captain Green is in level 7.
Unfortunately, Captain Green's also running out of time, as Fred is going to stumble across 3 at any moment. We are absolutely running out of spots for it to be.
So for his sake, if Captain Green wants to win this race, he needs to hope and pray that level 3 is at Recorder Lake. Oh no! He's leaving 7. Captain Green is leaving level 7. Oh, he was trying to force a bomb drop. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. He just went out to get bombs.
I do believe Fred is in the last bit of caves that we haven't seen up here, so it's looking more and more like that recorder might come into play.
And Captain Green's stabbing the old man too. I like it. That old man got stabbed a few times in the seed.
Oh, and that bomb upgrade is garbage.
What a scam. Although I guess it was only 82 rupees, so you do get what you pay for.
There's our third large secret up there in Death Mountain.
And Fred just exploring the top right corner. We are definitely running out of real estate. If it's not in these last couple caves, then it could very well be at Recorder Lake, and that's another item that Fred needs to dig out.
He did see the recorder, though, if I remember correctly. He just left it there, so he knows where it is.
Oh, there's the letter. Fred not grabbing that.
I do think he still has his potion, so...
Both of these runners probably sweating bullets by now.
And
it's not here!
Uh-oh.
Is it at Recorder Lake?
I think it has to be. I think
it has
everything
else.
I
think it has to be. I think it has to be.
And Fred is making a beeline to 8, it looks like, so I think he knows that too. He could be going to 5, though. He does know it's over here, but...
And there's level 8. Now it actually makes sense for him to dig out both of these items, because I believe this is his first time in 8. It's Captain Green closing in on those silvers. So depending on how quickly Captain Green finds these silvers, we could have a race on our hands. I'm pretty floored at how this race has played out in general. When Fred found the silvers in 7.
It definitely looked like Fred was definitely going to run away with it, but turns out the bow reeled him back in. And Fred is going to, I guess he has not been into 5 yet, so he's going to dig the item out of 5 most likely, which we know is the any key.
That's going to help him a lot, because Fred is in key trouble right now. Unfortunately, Captain Green digging out the wrong end of 7 will need to go all the way to the back to obtain those silvers.
Now Fred gets Y-forced here, but he also didn't pick up the bait, and we do know that any key is bait block, so if he wants to find out what item is in 5, he is going to need to spend some more money on some meat. He pays the toll of a heart.
Captain Green, actually, both of our runners could potentially be in a little bit of bomb trouble. But I think at this point, Captain Green probably has a sneaking suspicion that the bow has to be at Recorder Lake in 3, and there's the silver arrows, so it is just a race to find level 3 at this point. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I think at this point you start looking at your map, and he's got the recorder out, and there's the FA. I wouldn't be surprised if he just runs straight over to Recorder Lake.
That would make sense from his perspective as well, because that might be something that he thinks. Oh, he's gonna any road over there. Yeah, he's going straight there. He's going straight there.
And there it is.
And there it is. There is level 3. We will find our bow in here. So at this point, Captain Green has taken the lead.
And 3 had an early Triforce in it too. And here's our staircase.
Very quick
right
item.
away.
Very quick item too. Very quick item. There's our bow. Both of these runners know the path to Ganon. Both of these runners know the path to Zelda. This is Captain Green's race to lose. What an unbelievable race. What an insane turnaround. This is one of the most unreal races I've ever watched.
Oh, what an event here. And again, if you're enjoying this, give both our runners a follow. They're putting on a great show.
Oh, absolutely. I really have never seen anything like this. When you find the silver arrows in level 7 that early.
I mean, we had silvers, what, in the first 20 minutes?
Yes, way in the back of 7. Like, those silvers, they were B-U-R-I-E-D buried.
Now, this isn't completely over. Is Fred, Fred burns his last key. He did not get the any key out of 5, so, I don't think we were key blocked in here after that first door, but,
I don't believe so either.
So we could have a very close... Oh, no, we are. Oh, no.
Oh, no! Fred's gonna have to dig a key out of this dungeon.
And I hate to say it at this point, but that's... Oh, shoot. Yep. That's gonna put
There's
the nail
no other
in the...
key you can get to. This has gotta sting.
Yeah, that's gonna be the nail in the coffin for Fred at this point.
That's
he's probably
too
gonna
bad.
buy a key, but that's a hard way to go down.
That's really disappointing. That's too bad for Fred. Because he's been playing very, very well. The only real mistake I would say he made was leaving the recorder behind in level 8 when he knew there was a possibility that it could be needed.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't seen a hint, saying where any dungeons were there. It was early enough that you probably just go ahead and pick it up regardless.
It's still good to just take that few seconds just to cover your butt later in case of something like this. And Fred's buying meat to get the item out of 5. And we have Ganon on Captain Green's side. It's going to be 8 hits with the white sword. This room is not exactly an ideal room to fight Ganon in, but it does look like Captain Green... Oh, lost the stun lock. And there's the final hit. There's the silver arrow to Ganon. Captain Green has the Triforce of Power. He knows where Zelda is. Captain Green is going to take down Fred and go to 3-0 in this tournament, securing a spot in the bracket. And there's the door. And ladies and gentlemen, Captain Green, your winner of tonight's 2-0 race, advancing to 3-0 with an official SRL time of 74 minutes and 35 seconds. Great job. Give it up for Captain Green. Can we get some Franker Z?
That race had everything you could want from it.
We'll see if Captain Green wants to. It looks like Captain Green is going to give us a few words.
As Fred does find his way into 3 now.
And
well, back into 3. He popped that door open the first time.
And with enough keys to obtain silvers as well.
If he goes the right direction.
No.
He needed to go to the right there, I believe.
He might wind up clearing a little bit more of this dungeon than he'd like. He might actually take an up A and try a different key door. Well, not an up A, but if Fred dies in this dungeon, he might take it. Oh, he's trying to Kanana key with a bomb. This is heads up.
And he gets it.
There it is. And the heart container in the horizontal shoot room.
And with that said, we have Captain Green here in the Discord with us. GG, Captain Green.
Thank you.
So, talk us through that one. That was a seed.
It was indeed a seed. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was doing my best to... I didn't want to go to the 9 with both items, both the bow and silver's not there yet, so that's why I went back to 5 first. I went back to 4 first. I was trying to pull all the items I possibly could. But I also had to hint for 2 being a boomerang. So at that point, I was down to just, 7, 3, and 9, so I figured I'd have to find Ganon and Zelda anyway. And unfortunately, I found them, immediately, which makes that decision even harder. Then I basically full cleared 9. And when I saw that boomerang, that was really frustrating.
You want to know something even crazier?
Sure.
Fred had the silver arrows in about 20 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
He had a very hard time finding the Triforce in level 7, and actually made it all the way back to the dungeon and got the silver arrows, and we thought he had an insurmountable lead. But what this came down to is Fred found level 8 really, really late.
Right. I honestly don't even remember what was in 8 anymore. That feels like an hour ago.
The recorder was in level 8, which was needed to get to level 3, which had the bow.
Right, okay.
So this was really just one of those 100% seeds. It was really just 1 who routed better, and 2 who went to level 7.
Right. I was luckily able to avoid pretty much all of Death Mountain because I did have the hint for 3 being by a lake, and I think Recorder Lake was the last lake spot I hadn't checked at that point.
Man, I'm sure Fred would have appreciated that because he checked pretty much every single overworld square before finding that level 3 was at Recorder Lake.
So Fred is going to come into 9, and he knows where Ganon is, he knows where Zelda is. He's going to make quick work of this. So Captain Green, 3-0. You're in the brackets. How does that feel?
It feels awesome, because everyone in this tournament is so good, and it would have been super scary. Like, even being up 2-0, like, it was entirely possible that I just dropped 3 in a row, so it'll allow me to relax a little bit in the next couple of ones. Of course, I'm going to just keep having more tough competition, do my best to try and get the 4-0 and 5-0, but...
And you'll need to play well in those matches as well, because seeding is going to be very important.
Maybe. I mean, when you look at some of the people who are in, like, 1 and 2, and 2 and 1s, like, I think it's going to be scary no matter what. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to play for the 5-0 anyway. But...
I definitely agree with you. I am very, very scared of meeting people like RC Drone. I think because RC Drone could be 1 and 2.
Yeah, you've got RC Drone, you've got Saber in that pool, you've got quite a loaded. What we have right now is 1-1 or 2-1 and 1-2 as the week has been going on.
And you're going to get a wide variety of players in the brackets just by the very nature of this flag set. Where as opposed to the previous 8 Triforce tournaments, luck plays a little bit bigger role than some of the runners might be used to. So that actually makes being lower in the rankings and possibly not making brackets a little bit more unsettling. Captain Green, though, not going to be a part of that race.
Yeah, it definitely feels nice being in brackets already.
Fred has met Zelda, and we'll go at it with 2 hearts. I do believe he has a full potion in here, so... But he will not need it as he gets the perfect stun lock.
Nice. I was a little nervous going to 9. Like, I decided to waste the time going for the fairy just to be safe. Which felt kind of bad, but I'd rather be safe than sorry in that situation after an hour and 10 minutes in.
And it looks like we do have Fred going into Zelda's room, will finish, or in his case, Ganon's room, and there's the finish, there's the dot done. Then we do have Fred finishing in second place with an SRL time of 81 minutes and 57 seconds. And we do have Fred in the booth with us. That was a very difficult seed. This seed really, really tested, 1, how well you could route in a seed that you were likely at 100%, and 2, just how much one item can trip you up.
Oh, absolutely. Ugh, that was ugly.
You probably had to feel you were pretty far ahead digging the silvers out of level 7 20 minutes in and then just could not find the bow.
Yeah, well, I went with the assumption that let's get the 5 item, 5 Triforce. Once I found the 5th dungeon, I said, okay, let's do that. And I completely neglected the coast there because I just set whatever my routing was at the time. I didn't think I had enough bombs. I said, okay, well, let me just go ignore that for now. And of course, that contained 2 of the levels, including level 8, which had the key to get to level 3, which had the bow. So, and then key troubles towards the end because I did a full clear of 9, trying to find the bow there, only to find the lovely red candle sitting there tucked away in the one room I didn't get to.
No, we were wondering how much of an advantage Captain Green's any key was going to be, because he found level 5 relatively quickly and did manage to get the any key from it. And we were actually starting to speculate, once neither one of you had found level 3, about 45-50 minutes in, because both of you were looking for something that the other of you did not have. Captain Green had the recorder out of 8, but did not have the silvers out of 7. You had the silvers out of 7, did not have the recorder out of 8, and it was just going to be a dogfight to see who found this level 3 first. And Captain Green just found it a minute or 2 faster than you did.
Oh yeah, well, and at that point I had insufficient keys to get down to to get there. So ended up not. Well, I might have had. No, I definitely had insufficient keys to get over there. So he was just able to get in there and take it all. So it's a good game to him because again, that was a tough seed and it was not going to be an easy one. He made the right decisions in the end.
That's one of those cases where it can even just come down to right order, even in 100% seeds, because I believe both of you found every single item.
I trust that. I mean, as I said, it looks like from the thing, he didn't quite cover all the overworld thanks to one of the hints he had. So that definitely would have saved him some time there. And then just a case of resource management. I didn't quite have the great resource management there, and clearly he went better, and so therefore he gets to move on to the next round. He's guaranteed himself a slot in the bracket.
And speaking of the brackets, Fred, that does put you at 2-1, so you'll have 2 more chances to make these brackets. So how do you feel about that with the little bit higher variance than runners may be used to with these flags?
Oh, I mean, all the people in this tournament that I have watched so far, there's been a ton of good people. And so, anyone who's in the 2-1 slot is going to have a ton of, one second here. There's going to be a ton of people who are really good at this game, regardless of what level they're at, whether they're at the 3-0, whether they're at 2-1. Heck, I mean, even the 1 and 2s are still incredibly talented here. So, and a bunch of them have a shot. So, I'm looking down the list here, people who have 4 points by their name on the thing with 2 wins, and the list there is just incredibly strong. I mean, there's not a person there that I would really want to play against in the next round. There's just so much competition here, so it's going to be a really tough matchup here, and I'm looking forward to seeing how crazy it gets.
And even the 1 and 2s are really scary too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I believe we have. I'm gonna actually take a look.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of people so far. I mean, some of them may not necessarily have. They may not have played their 3rd game this week, but you've got RC Drone who only has 1 win at the moment. You only have 1 win at the moment. Zardia has 1 win, although I think he played saver there. But I mean, there are a ton of scary people as I am looking through this whole list that are at the even at the 1 win mark right now who could make it in there. Toaster is in there. Oh gosh, yeah, there are a lot of names who are in there who are incredibly talented racers, and therefore any of them can easily go on a run. BT still only has 1 win, although I think he's playing later this week. But yeah, as I said, it's going to be actually he's playing I think right now. But either way, it's going to be a ton of fun. There's a ton of really good names here, and seeing who can fight their way up to get the 3rd win to be able to do things is going to be a ton. It's going to be madness. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, absolutely. So, Captain Green, Fred, do either of the two have any final thoughts about this race?
Congrats on advancing, Captain Green. Look forward to playing, seeing you in the next few rounds. Hopefully, fighting you again in bracket round.
Yeah, that would be awesome. GG Fred. Thank you, Nora and Raikou, for the comms. Thank you for Nora for the restream. And thanks everyone for watching.
Oh, absolutely. And we do have a lot of action going on. We have 4 other races. All of Speed Gaming tonight is going to be